Everyone always tells you the exact same thing about gardening. Add compost, add mulch, add fertilizer. But what if I told you one of the additions you're quite literally adding every day, every second day, maybe every third? Way more than you're adding mulch, fertilizer, or compost is slowly poisoning your soil. The ingredients, it's water. Now, more specifically, it has nothing to do with rainwater, but it has everything to do with literally every other form of water. Groundwater, tap water, dugout water. And if you are watering with those rather than rainwater, or if you're not mixing the two accordingly, rainwater versus the other waters, then you are very slowly changing your soil chemistry over time. And changes in soil chemistry result in a number of different issues, such as nutrient uptake, microbial habitats and health, roots health, obviously the overall production of your plants. And if you don't know who I am, hi, hello, my name's Ashley. I have a bachelor's of science in soil science. I like to take said science, apply it to all things plants. I've been gardening since I was about 5 years old, hence the inspo to become a soil scientist. I've been working with soil science for like 15-ish years. I know that's actually placing a date probably on my age, but anyways, if you like the sounds of that, hit the subscribe button. The Geek Crew, way more knowledgeable than I am in regards to very specific scenarios in their region. Go check out the comment section to learn more from them. Everyone always asks, how do I become part of the Geek Crew? You hit the subscribe button. There's really not much else to that. Yeah. So most gardeners think water is water, nothing else to it. But chemically, it can vary depending on where you are. And it has a lot to do with the dissolved mineral content within the water. So where I am in the Prairie provinces, we have a limestone bedrock, and this limestone bedrock yields a more alkaline water. This means we have higher levels of calcium, magnesium, sodium, and bicarbonates. And this affects the pH of the water specifically, but over time, it can and will change the pH of the soil. And this is particularly true if we aren't counteracting it with rainwater. And this is a known fact. People who garden or farm on a large scale for cash moneyola is they are watching this. They are constantly trying to mediate this or mitigate it in some way, shape, or form, because they know for a fact over time that they are going to make their soil more alkaline, which will change the ability for the plants to uptake nutrients. But us as gardeners, we don't really look at this very often. I was just sitting here editing this video and I was thinking to myself, how can the Geek Crew harness the ability to find out the truth in different concepts, such as this one, for example? And for that, I highly recommend an app called Brilliant. Now, you guys know, if you've been on this channel long enough, that Brilliant's been a sponsor of this channel for many, many months at this point. A lot of you have it. A lot of you have gotten it for your children. I have nothing but good things to say about it. There are a number of different modules or games you can play. My personal favorite is scientific thinking, and that's because it really revolves around my day-to-day, along with your guys' day-to-day if you enjoy scientific content such as the Gardening Canada channel. Now, the courses are not just willy-nilly. They're handcrafted by an elite team of individuals. We're talking world-class teachers from MIT, Harvard, and Stanford. Best part is it is designed for any age range, kids 10 to 100 years old, and therefore a lot of you fall smack dab in the middle of that. And like I said, the best part about Brilliant is that you don't just simply watch a video, you're not simply just taking notes, you're not just typing something into Google and regurgitating it, you're playing games, and these games allow you to get a better grasp on things. If you're learning a new hobby, like how to crochet, you can watch a video, you can read a book, but until you actually do it, you're not good at it, or you don't really understand what you're watching. Gardening's the same as well. You don't really know what you're trying to learn until you put it into practice and you become a garden scientist. And so that's where Brilliant app succeeds. It's brilliant. Now, if you want to learn for free for a full 30 days, you can go to brilliant.org/gardening in Canada, scan the QR code on the screen, click the link in the description or the one in the pinned comment. Brilliant's giving the Geek Crew 20% off an annual premium subscription, which will grant you unlimited daily access to Brilliant. Like I said, don't take my word for it. Every time I do a Brilliant segment, people in the Geek Crew comment down below how much either they loved it or their children love it. So please check out the comments because I can guarantee you there are going to be some that tout this app for what it is, which is brilliant. Thank you, Brilliant, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back into irrigation and watering your soil or your plants. So research has shown in food production underneath irrigation, we end up with a slight increase over time when it comes to the pH. The irrigation of high bicarbonate water steadily will increase the substrate's pH. And this is important to note because over time, that also means nutrients slowly becomes unavailable to the plant. There's something called a soil pH chart in regards to pH and its ability to be uptaken by plants based on the pH, and I will pop it up on the screen. This gives you kind of a good idea of what happens as your pH is buffered or pushed farther and farther higher or lower depending on your situation. So for example, iron chlorosis, this is yellowing of leaves, green veins, weak growth, all takes place when iron specifically is not available. And it doesn't take much to get there. 7.5 soil pH is enough to push you over into what we call iron chlorosis zone. So that's why it's important to be able to watch this and to pivot or navigate it correctly. So the first symptoms you will see this in are usually your aesthetic loving plants. This can include things like azaleas, roses, blueberries. The list is endless. So just do a quick Google on this. I can guarantee you have an aesthetic soil loving plant in your garden. And if you notice these are suffering, that it may be an indicator that you're watering too much with the water you're getting from your groundwater or from your tap, or in some cases, your dugout, depending on how your dugout is made. Is it runoff or is it you tapping into something underground? If you're unsure as to whether or not the aesthetic loving plants are suffering, or if you just quite literally want to make sure that your tap water is not alkaline or an indicator as to whether or not you need to balance between rainwater and tap water, I would just encourage you to go get a soil pH test kit. It does not have to be sophisticated. I personally like the Root Farm one. I'll link it down below. If I forget to, let me know. But that's one that I would use. You can also use one from pool companies. You can use ones from pet stores for fish aquariums. You name it, all of them are the same. What we're looking for is the pH of the water that comes out of the tap. Now, from where I am in Saskatoon, I will save you the purchase. Straight up, we're 8, where our pH is around 8, which is, yes, much higher than what we wanted at. So us in particular, we want to be careful with the ratio between rainwater and groundwater, particularly if we intend to stay in that area for an extended period of time, and how much of each we're using. Now, the good news here is that the problem is fixable, not only just with the addition of rainwater, but also with the addition of a few other things. For example, ammonia-based fertilizers, this is just your conventional fertilizers, has a tendency to slowly drop soil pH. So if you have an alkaline soil, which you likely do if you're in Saskatchewan, Alberta, or Manitoba, or the states below us in the Great Plains, heads up, you can very easily utilize just your classic ammonium fertilizers. The reason why this works, these can include things like ammonium sulfate, urea, ammonium nitrate, just to name a few. And the reason why this works is because nitrification takes place. The process of nitrification actually knocks a couple hydrogens off, and now these hydrogens are floating around the soil, which in turn actually decreases the soil pH. If you did not know, hydrogen is the driver between high and low pH when it comes to your soil. Number 2 is sulfur, specifically elemental sulfur. Now you can get this in a powder form, you can get this in a pelleted form, but I will say it takes months to actually take effect. And so it is not as quick to act when compared to those ammonium fertilizers. The extreme end is obviously going to be acidifying the water that you're using to water your plants with, which seems like way too much work for me. So I personally am not going to even tell you how to do it. If you're interested, do your own research as to whether or not that's a route you want to go down. And if you don't want to fertilize with conventional fertilizer, you don't want to add elemental sulfur, the option number 4 would be to add organic material. And this is because organic material acts as a buffer. This can be vermicast, peat, compost, manure, mushroom compost, you name it. If it's organic, leaf mold, it's all going to act as a buffer. So the takeaway here is ultimately that water is not just water. It is a conduit that travels chemicals and different compositions, which in turn changes the pH of the soil or the surrounding areas. And therefore, you need to be careful with how much you're adding if you are in an area that is incredibly acidic or incredibly alkaline. The reason why today's video is mostly based around alkalinity is because a vast majority of you are going to be under that pretense rather than acidic. Acidic water is very, very rare, internationally speaking. So you have to let me know in the comments down below where your tap water sits. If you have tested it, I'd be interested to know where you guys are at. Like I said, where I'm in Saskatoon, we're about an 8. This is the video that I just recently released. That is the video that Google thinks you should watch next. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.